Welcome to The Breakdown with INFB. I'm your host, Heidi Gant. March is Women's History Month, and in 2026, the world will celebrate the International Year of the Woman Farmer. It's a United Nations initiative recognizing the vital role women play in agriculture and agribusiness. To celebrate, Indiana Farm Bureau is highlighting the important work of female members across the state, especially from those who are our district education and outreach coordinators that make up the INFB Women's Leadership Committee. They educate the public through programs and events that promote a positive image of agriculture. On today's episode, the International Year of the Woman Farmer gives us an opportunity to honor those contributions of women across Indian agriculture, including the WLC and every woman working in farming and agribusiness throughout the state. Today on the podcast, we have Janis, Highley, Joy, Tracy, Tracy Morgan, and Kathleen Allbaugh on the podcast with us. Ladies, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's go around the horn. Janis, let's start with you. Tell listeners who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Sure. Well, it's nice to be here with you today, Heidi. I mean, can you believe we're almost into March? So when you said 2026, I'm like, oh my goodness, here we are, the first quarter of 2026. And what a great opportunity that this started with the USDA supporting this initiative, but the year of the woman farmer. So a little bit about myself. As you said, I'm Janis Highley, and I'm currently serving as Indiana Farm Bureau's second vice president. And one of my responsibilities in that job is chairing the Women's Leadership Committee. You mentioned we have three other ladies with me here today that you're going to be speaking with too that sit on this committee. The committee is made up of 10 women from across the state of Indiana. So I think I'll pause there and see what else you'd like to know.
Yeah, sure. Let's keep going around the horn here. Tracy, would you like to go next? Tell us who you are, what you do.
Okay, I'm Tracy Morgan. I'm from Vermilion County and I represent District 5. Um, we farm corn and soybeans, and basically my job is right now I'm watching our 5-year-old grandson one day a week until he goes to kindergarten, and then I'll be an empty nester again. So
Well, that sounds like a pretty awesome job.
yeah, I like it.
All right, Joy, how about you?
I'm Joy Tracy. I am from LaGrange County and I represent District 2. That includes 8 different counties. We are in partnership with our son and a dairy farm. I grew up on a dairy farm in Steuben County. And I also work off the farm at a custom fertilizer and chemical application company full time.
All right. And Kathleen.
Yeah, hi everybody. Thanks for being here today. Like Heidi said, I'm Kathleen Allbaugh. I am from District 4. I live on the Grant, Miami, Wabash County, little corner there. My family we row crop farm here, and my role on the farm is most specifically all of our bookkeeping, inventory management, all of that fun stuff. I occasionally have to sit in the tractor, but avoid if I can. And off the farm, I'm a licensed esthetician, and I have been doing wedding, special occasion hair and makeup for 10 years now.
Very fun. I didn't know that about you. I'm learning new things today. Okay, well, let's kind of talk about just high level. Why did you guys get involved in Indiana Farm Bureau and the Women's Leadership Committee? I know a lot of what you do is trying to bridge that gap between farmers and consumers. That's what we try to do every day, but I think you guys do that really well for us. And having those of you who are living and breathing it on the ground is always very helpful. At what we do here in Indianapolis is having you all around the state to be able to help do that for us. But kind of go around the horn again and say why you got involved in what you're doing with Indiana Farm Bureau, and what you think is important about what you do. Anyone can go.
I'll go ahead and start. So I was involved in Collegiate Farm Bureau at Purdue for about a semester and a half, and then COVID hit my freshman year and kind of, canceled what was going on. And I kind of stepped back my gear focus to finishing my education quickly. And so I kind of stepped back from my roles with Farm Bureau, but was still involved in ag activities on campus. And then after I graduated Purdue in 21, then I, did my aesthetics program, got married, had a baby. And then my sweet friend, Amy Osborne, called me one day and was like, you need to be back involved. The things that you are passionate about are exactly what Farm Bureau are passionate about. And so this district education outreach coordinator position was actually being sat for because Miss Janis actually assumed her current role. And so then when she did so, then my current role was empty. And so I have been in this role for officially officially since November, but I sat an interim role for about almost a year. And so after I assumed this role, my Farm Bureau, I say career, but my Farm Bureau time kind of just took off, and I feel like I'm still learning and growing. But what I am most passionate about in Farm Bureau is just helping consumers understand what farmers actually do, because I have realized even in the spa, the disconnect from consumers and what the farmers actually doing. And so I think youth education is important, but I also have a really big passion for adult ag education as well.
Awesome. Anybody else?
I'll go. I'm on a different level of I grew up in Farm Bureau because my parents were always involved. So I just naturally followed and tagged along. I feel like it was a natural progression. Um, I watched the things that they did, got voluntold to do a lot of things when they were involved. And it was just one of those things where uh, I remember Carol Hagel was the second vice president when I was a teenager, and I thought I really want to learn how to speak like her. And that was one of the little inspirations. And she was a dynamic speaker and really enjoyed listening to her. But I think more just, we've served in different capacities, my husband and I, and and I can say that there's lots of different levels as far as when we were involved in the young farmers, it was a good base for us to know we're not alone. They're facing the same problems we were facing. Then when we transferred out of young farmer stage, I just felt like the natural progression was in the WLC. It was something I always wanted to do, but when my kids were young, I couldn't really make that work. Um, but I've truly enjoyed it. I don't know what's next, but I'm sure there will be something. Um, but along with Kathleen, the consumer education, it surprises me and doesn't surprise me sometimes when you're visiting and you think, my word, but it's been going on for years because when I was little, my parents uh, did um, tours of the farm one day. And it was even now, the questions that the parents had back then are the same questions that they have now. And so this isn't anything new. It's just we need to step our game up of how we're educating people.
Yeah, great point. What about you, Tracy?
Well, I too remember going to Farm Bureau events with my grandparents, and then my husband would always get our mail, and I happened to get it one day and there was a card in there to the Farm Bureau annual meeting. And I'm like, are we going to go to this? And he's like, no. And I'm like, why not? He goes, I don't know. We just don't ever go. And I'm like, if you're going to be a member of Farm Bureau, you need to know what's going on. So that kind of started that. Then we got on the board. Then I was county EOC, and then the district position termed out. I was elected in, so here I am, and I really enjoyed it. I feel like I can step up and speak more about agriculture. I'm more confident in myself. So, I mean, Farm Bureau helps a lot in that way. I enjoy going to Washington, D.C. Um, it just blows my mind that I'm able to do that. I'm able to sit in their offices and speak to our representatives and senators and talk to them one on one and realize they're people just like us. And so to understand that how much of a role Farm Bureau plays in make the laws in our country
Yeah.
to help the farmers. I didn't really realize how much Farm Bureau plays a role in that until you get involved.
Yep. And they need people like you to tell them what you're experiencing every day on your farm so that they can better understand that. So we appreciate all that you all do in that realm. Janice, let's move on. Can you talk about one of the biggest events that the WLC does every year is Taste from Indiana Farms. Can you talk about something unique that you guys are doing this year to celebrate the International Year of the Women Farmer? But also just talk to us about what Taste from Indiana Farms is as well.
Sure. It's an event that we hold at our state fair every August here in Indianapolis. And the ladies, they talked about the consumers, connecting the consumers to the products. That's exactly our goal with this program is connecting consumers to the products. And most of these well, not most of them, all of these products come from either one of our farms or another farm that is connected to a farm in the state of Indiana. And what we're blessed that we're able to do is not only are we able to talk to them about each of these products, we're able to give them samples of each of these products. And then you mentioned, so what are we looking at this year for 2026 when it comes to this event and being the year of the women's farmers? We set these up in booths, some anywhere from eight to 10 booths. But this year we are going to have a couple booths that are going to be more driven to the agribusiness. Because as you hear, even with these ladies here, they're doing things that are connected to ag, but might not be out in the cornfield or the bean field. They might be using makeup that's made from an ag product. They might be help raising kids or grandkids, so the parent can be out there in the field. But it's amazing when you stop and think how many jobs are really tied into agriculture. And so not only this year, as I mentioned, that we're going to stay with our tried and true and with our different commodities to make sure they know where things are coming from, whether it's apples, corn, grapes. But then we're also going to stick in this new piece. And it's interesting how a lot of the people in the farming operation, it is the woman a lot of times that works off farm. And I think it will be fun to highlight that. And, but yet we do it every day as women, don't think a thing of it. I look forward to the consumers and what their response is going to be. And they'll say, what's this have to do with agriculture in Indiana?
Yeah, and how many people do you remember how many people went through that last year? I mean, it's quite a few people that you hit every year with that.
Yeah, we had approximately 10,000 last year individuals go through that. It's a 4-day event. And Indiana Farm Bureau, the Fall Creek Pavilion, we have that right there in that pavilion up on the second level. And so great location, great turnout, and we're already, as you can tell, planning for next year.
Yep, I'm excited. It's always, I think people look forward to that every year. So we appreciate all the time, hours, and effort you all put into that. Also, kind of on that same line with consumer education, can one of you talk about what you all do with ag in the classroom? So we've talked about that, adult education, consumer education. Let's talk about what you all do with ag in the classroom. Who wants to take that one?
Um, with working off the farm, there's not a huge amount of time. However, as my role with WLC for my district, I feel that I am the connection between the county and the state. And then with each county, there is an outreach and education coordinator. So that's who I connect with. And it's not so much their job to go into the classroom as to surface people that want to go into the classroom. And I have helped with that. Um, One example is one of my counties called and she said, "I have an issue." Okay, I'm all about issues. She said, "I've been asked by the school to do." At that time, it was the strawberry book for the book of the year, and so she was going to do the strawberry jam, and but it was for everybody. So I went and helped her, and we did it 5 times in a row, read the book 5 times. We made strawberry jam, the strawberry freezer jam in a bag, and the kids had a ball. And I was exhausted by the end of it. But so kudos to all of the ladies that go into the classroom, and men too. But moreover, it's to make connections with them of your chicken nuggets don't start at Costco or McDonald's. Trying to give them that base of where their food comes from. I was really excited with the new policy where now there's whole milk back in the schools. So that to me, there's a connection there of everybody loves food, just like we're talking about Taste from Indiana. This minute you say, would you like to go through this Taste from Indiana Farms? And then you say it's all free samples. Well, food brings everybody in. So same way with the children is when we do an activity or we make food or we make butter or we make whatever it is at that time, or do an activity sheet with them. It's that connection, and then they remember you from year to year. I just think that's building your base.
Yeah, that's great. And they're familiar with you, they're familiar with your face, but also we could always use new volunteers, right?
Yes,
Anyone's
very
listening
much.
to this, yeah. If you want to volunteer at a
Very much.
local school, yeah, connect with your local county farm bureau for sure.
And it's not so much of, oh, I have to go every day or every week, or you set what you can do with your schedule. If you want to go once a month, that's perfectly great. Um, it's if you enjoy being around the kids and you have a love for agriculture, then you are the person.
Yeah, that's
I
great.
would love to add a little bit to that if I can, Heidi, if we have
Sure.
time.
Yeah.
Okay. So to add to Joy, one thing that I feel like my counties do a really fantastic job of with their Ag in the Classroom programs is thinking outside the box and not just connecting with their local county schools, but also preschool programs in the area, their local homeschool co-ops. I have a lot of or my county education coordinators, or the county education coordinators that I get to support, have a lot of success going into unique classroom situations to educate the kiddos that they get to serve. And they see a lot of awesome feedback from the educators and then the parents of the children, just with how much fun that these kiddos get to have learning, A, from a different person than their typical educator, but B, learning about different material than is typically taught in a, K through 12 is technically Ag in the Classroom, their K through 12 programming.
Love that. Exciting. And then Tracy, you touched on this a little bit, but something that the WLC also does every once in a while is go to Washington, D.C. to advocate for agriculture. I know this year, I don't know, you all are going to the ACE Summit, correct? Yeah.
Correct, yes, the
Okay,
whole committee.
Tracy, talk a little bit about that experience and what you talk to your representatives and senators about.
Well, I had the opportunity to go 2 years ago. And so when I found out that the whole committee was going this year, I was really excited because now I've been there. I know what to expect. Um, so to be able to go and talk about what's going on our farms and let them know what we need and to just advocate for what's going on back here in Indiana and let them know is a great thing to do. So I recommend anybody that has a chance to go to ACES. It's a great opportunity.
Great. Yeah, and they need to see all kinds of people, right? So I'm
Exactly.
glad that you all are going this year. Janice, why don't you finish us off? Can you tell us a little bit first before we end about farm safety trainings? I know that's something important that you all do. Just real quick about that. And then if anybody wants more information, where they can go for that, about what you all do.
So, farm safety is one of the programs that the Women's Leadership Committee we've brought back here in the last couple of years and have kind of taken it and ran with it. Um, our big one that we started off with was anhydrous ammonia. This is a product that is used typically in corn. We refer to it as side dressing the corn. Another safety program we've did is grain bin rescue safety. And both of those programs are still ongoing this year. And we are not just trying to do one central area. This is something that we're doing across the state of Indiana. One of the jobs that the legislator, the state has tasked us with to help with, and when I say us, it's not only the women's leadership, but Indiana Farm Bureau in general, is collecting data when it does come to farm rescue. And when we need rescue tubes or auger tractors or ropes or whatever this is, the Women's Leadership Committee, along with their supportive staff, has agreed to step up and help make this possible. As far as where you can find, we've talked ACE, we've talked county educators and outreach, we've talked women's leadership at the state level, lots of different anonyms. So if you want to go to the website, and it's infb.org, and we've been working hard to update that website. So feel free to go there, and I'm sure Heidi and her team have contact information available through this podcast. But it's been great talking with you today.
Oh, great. Thank you guys so much. Yes, I'll put a little bit more information in the show notes for this podcast, just in case people want to go to our website for more information. But thank you all for joining us today to just talk a little bit about what you all do. We appreciate you all and for representing females in agriculture. And hopefully we can get listeners out to Taste from Indiana Farms and some of our safety trainings and to volunteer for Ag in the Classroom. So thank you guys all for taking time out of your day today.
Thanks, Heidi.
Thanks, Heidi.
If you enjoyed our conversation today, make sure to subscribe to The Breakdown with INFB and even rate and review us to let us know how we're doing. For more information, visit www.infb.org/podcast.